really tired. Ah.
What's that?
Ah.
What was that?
I don't know. Definitely recording.
Yeah.
We're on. Episode
2.
So I found Mum's pajamas at the storage at Lee's house.
Nice.
So this is what I've based the whole bedding off.
Yeah.
See, with the pink and the ruffles. It's from my interview in New Zealand.
It's exciting.
So I matched the bed now. Very happy
love
about
good
that.
matching, don't you?
I do.
You do, yeah.
I know, I got the hiccup. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Let's fucking go. So I want to run through the day Mum died. I kind of, want to like step by step. I have to edit this out.
Oh, you want it. Right.
The day my mum died.
Yes.
No. So I kind of want to go through what the fuck happened that day. Because that was the weirdest experience of my life.
It was very weird. It was a very surreal kind of day.
You think, and I thought it was going to be like non-stop crying, locked in a room, depths of despair, but like this is why I want to go through it, because the people I've spoken to that have also been through this, obviously everyone's different, but a lot of people have also been how we were. And so I'm kind of like, why did we not talk about this? Where's the fucking conversations? I can't stop yawning. I'm really tired today.
Oh, yawning too.
So I will be doing another episode about the sort of week in hospice. I'll be doing one about the stages of dying, like how she like actually, died in my arms. But this one will be about essentially the 5th of December, 2024. So I reckon I finally got to sleep nearly at 1 in the morning. I think it was like 12:50. Mum was in, I didn't even actually realise, but the final stage where obviously they're not communicating.
Yeah.
She had the death rattle, which there'll be a whole episode on that. So I knew it was close, but I didn't think it was like the next day.
Yeah.
Because Mum had kept saying to me in the last week when I can't talk anymore, know that I'm thinking I love you, I'm saying I love you. And so I kind of thought
You kind of got in your mind that it was going to be a week from that here.
Well, I just not.
It's hard because no one really knows. No one knows what to expect.
No one talks about it.
Yeah.
No one knows. And everyone is different. But Mum, her last words to me were like Wednesday afternoon, and she went Thursday morning. But I will go back into the week of hospice later, but obviously we had periods in hospice where she didn't talk for a while.
Yeah, the like little fake deaths, like the pump fakes. Like that one Monday when she didn't talk. She didn't talk for the whole day. She was like barely conscious, and the nurse was like, "I think it's about time." Then she wakes up at 10 p.m. Hello.
No. Okay, we'll go into that. 'Cause, oh my God, that was the
Yes.
So, Mum had her living funeral on the Sunday night, and she entertained, she hosted. You wouldn't have known that bitch was sick. She was cracking jokes. She was amazing.
Yes.
But she put all her energy into it.
Tired her out.
Then
very tuckered.
she was a tucker girl.
Yeah.
And then when everyone left, she went to sleep. And then she did speak to me a little bit Monday morning when we woke up, but she was really tired. And then kind of nothing, but I kind of thought she had like a big nap after last night, Didn't speak all fucking day. To the point, I think it had been like 8 or 9 hours. She'd just been sleeping, not speaking, whatever. And the nurses pulled us aside and they said to us, like, we're on to the next stage. Yeah. Mum can't talk anymore, but she can hear you. Keep talking to her. Stay with her. Obviously, we were anyway. But, she's, this is the next step. And so I'm just like, come on, like, it's happening.
Yeah.
I'm texting all of her friends. I'm texting our friends. I'm like, right, Mum's not speaking anymore. We're in that next phase. I don't know how long we've got, la, la, la. And I remember, like, it was quite late at night. I think it was like 9 or 10 p.m. You were still with me.
Yes.
I was just sat there and she'd just been for fucking 8-9 hours. We've literally told everyone, I think, 20 minutes ago.
Yes, that this is the end.
Yeah, and so this is Mum. And then she just goes,
Morning. Morning.
I shot out of my fucking chair.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, she looked at the clock. She goes, 10 a.m. I've slept in. I'm like, it's 10 p.m. You ain't spoken shit to me all day. They gave me the talk. They told me we're in the final stages. She goes, oh, sorry.
So this...
A little cheeky smile.
Yeah, smile.
Oh, not her fault, obviously, but oh my God, that was a journey.
Yeah.
So I just finished texting everybody, and then I'm like, never mind. She's awake.
Yes.
Oh, so that was the fake death. So yes, that was Monday night. She spoke to me that night, obviously. And then Tuesday she was normal, tired, but normal.
Yeah.
We had our sunset.
That was like,
Yeah.
sunset video.
The sunset video.
Why so many people were here.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome.
32 million people. Okay, we'll touch on that day. Maybe just a little bit. I do want to do a proper dedicated video about the sunset and about everything Mary Potter and the foundation did. But Tuesday was lots of visitors. I think we had obviously Art, well, was living there, like Jodie, Claire, Deb, Godcam's mum. We had someone else, Casey.
Yeah.
That also tired her out because we had like a lot of visitors.
A lot of people.
Yep, and that was the night we were doing the sunset. And she was okay. She was lucid-ish when she was awake.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if I want to get into that little, No, that would be another episode. We'll skip over that. Point being, she was talking. We did the sunset, and that was the most magical thing. Like, she got to have, like, champagne, fish and chips. She couldn't swallow anything, but
She had a little bite.
She had a little bite of a chip and a little bite of some fish. And
yeah, we had been talking about going down and getting fish and chips for all of our relationship. We just never got down there.
Yeah.
And that's like the one thing that if we hadn't done that, you would have regretted that so much. Because that's the one thing me, you and Mum had talked about for a long time, to getting down the beach. We just never did it.
We just never got there.
Yeah, and it's so glad that we actually got there.
So good. Oh, my titty. Oh. So the thing with the sunset is because Mum's energy levels were low, trying to line up when we were free, when she was feeling good, a lot of the time, like that's why I saw Mum so much during the day. I would work like, 6 to 11, see Mum once she's up and about, and then I'll go back to work like 4 till 6 or something. So she was never often lively enough to, because it's an hour round trip to get down there. It's a whole thing. But I had booked the Airbnb at Casa Billy in, I think it's Aldinga. And it was during the time she was in hospital. So it was booked. We were going to go do a whole sunset, 2 nights away, beach stay. But unfortunately, we didn't get to do that. So that was the one thing I was just like, didn't get it to the fucking sunset. And oh my God, when we mentioned the idea that the hospice might be able to take us.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it? It was the 3rd of December. And she goes, we'll just watch the sunset here on New Year's Eve, darling. And we were just like,
I don't know if it was that long, yeah.
It's
hard because your mum, sometimes she realised what condition she was in. Sometimes she didn't.
Yeah.
When she said, am I sick, Jessie? I was like, oh. Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I never... She knew, like you said, there were times she knew and there were times she didn't.
Yeah.
I never told her she was dying because when she was lucid, she knew.
Yeah.
We're in a hospice and we're talking about, she wants to give Ash the furniture and she wants to give this person this jewellery and blah, blah, blah. Like she knew. And we talked about me being okay and me being with you and everything else. And the times that she didn't know she was dying, I kind of just, like the day that we woke up and, because we were having a sleepover, I had my bed raised to her level, so I was always there with her. So she thought we were in the Crown Towers in Melbourne because that's where we used to stay. And she asked me and I just said yes. Like, it's no harm. I think because my parents, when I was really young, they owned a retirement home.
Yeah.
And there were some dementia patients. And if you correct someone, it can cause stress and anxiety and fear. And so for me, if it's a harmless
and they don't remember it anyway.
Exactly. So there were a lot of times I just went along with things. Or when she, we could be, I remember one time she was sending Con and Philip a voice note to thank them for their beautiful voice notes. Oh, they break my heart. And halfway through, she started talking about bread. So I just spoke about bread with her, and then it went back into the conversation with Con and Philip. Like, I think there was no need to correct her or anything. But yeah, so in the time that she wasn't with it, I didn't need to be like, yeah, you're dying. I just kind of went, oh, not yet, Mum, because it was true. Not yet. Tomorrow maybe. Oh, anyway. So we had that sunset, and yeah, that was beautiful. And she was singing All of Me by Rod Stewart. We sang that with her, and it was that night, all she could say was good day, over and over. We went to sleep, and we had the biggest sleep, Mum and I. Like, I think we both slept like 12 hours, because obviously the sunset was quite tiring for her.
You hadn't been sleeping for a while either.
Oh, God, no. No. Two or three of my 7 nights in hospice, we had good sleeps. Mm-hmm. The other ones, Mum would wake up not well and we'd need the nurse. Yeah. It's the only thing I can liken motherhood to. It was kind of like, because that's all I was doing. There was no work, no gym. I was just living there. Yeah. If she was up, I was up. If she's asleep, I was asleep. It was very just like all over. But she did speak Wednesday morning. Yeah. Because I remember I said to her that, no, my brain's gone. Never mind. She spoke Wednesday morning. Claire came and visited. Jodie was there. And then it was Wednesday afternoon. I just thought she'd gone back into a bit of a sleep like the Monday, like the fake death day. I didn't know that the death rattle was the death rattle. I thought she had a cold. I thought something had happened.
Yeah, it all started on Wednesday. She had that little gasping, croaking. Oh. Kind of sound like The Grudge.
Yeah. Kind of like Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
The real chesty, phlegmy breathing, which I didn't fucking know about. But anyway, so that was the day that happened. You like that little song?
Yeah, little song.
But I didn't know that was kind of, I now realise at the point of no return. Do you know what I mean? I didn't realise that was the next phase, what they thought happened on Monday. Like, that was happening then. But because she bounced back so many times, I just didn't. And because she spoke to me that morning, I didn't think she was going the next day,
Yeah.
But anyway, so, I'm just sort of next to her. And it was about 8 p.m. onwards, she started getting, like, more and more, like, hunched and kind of just, you know. Yeah. And I think I still didn't expect it the next morning, but I realised that, there's not going to be a bounce back. This is just this until it's not now, essentially. So I was, crying, and I had a playlist on. I was playing all the 70s music. I was reading her book to her, and it was so bizarre because it was like she was there, but she couldn't talk to me. Yeah. But I know they say your hearing's the last thing to go. So just reading this fucking book and just talking to her like she could hear me in case she could. And then I think it was about 12:30, 12:50. I think I took like 5 melatonin and I finally got to sleep. It didn't work.
5 melatonin, I can imagine how groggy you would feel when you wake up from that.
Well, yes.
Yes.
So I got to sleep. I left the lights on because, love you, Mum, but that shit was scary. Like, because it was and the sound, it was a lot. Again, that's another episode. I'll go into that in detail. Ugh. And then the nurse will come in every couple of hours to check levels and everything. Yeah. And when she came in, it woke me up. I think this was about 2:30 or something. 2:50 maybe I called you. I went to the toilet while she was like checking Mum. And again, I still had no idea like this is happening now. And I got back into the bed, and her name was Sue as well. And she goes to me like, I think, she goes, I can see a huge change in your mum from 3 hours ago. Yeah. I was so naive. I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, I think it's close. I was like, how close? Like in the next few hours? And she's like, no, like close. And she goes, I'll leave you to it. And she
shut the door. And...
I was just like, Like, I think I called you straight away. You were awake?
I had woken up
Yeah.
in the middle of the night randomly.
Yeah.
So I answered you on like the first ring.
Which was so surprising.
Yeah, I'd woken up randomly just in the middle of the night, exactly at that time, and you called me, and I chucked my clothes on and drove straight over.
Yeah, you felt like mum kind of.
Yeah, it was something weird. It felt like someone in the house.
Yeah.
And I woke up and I was paranoid, like, someone in the house? Who's broken into the house?
Yeah.
So it felt like there was someone like watching me.
Yeah.
And that's why I got up to pee and I had a little check around the house.
I feel like it's so weird because I am not, maybe I am now, but like I'm not spiritual, I'm not religious, but like so much shit has happened like that I don't feel like can be coincidences.
Yeah.
Coincidence. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like mum kind of woke you up. Something happened there.
Yeah, me too.
Something happened.
I think she said, Sam needs you. Come. I'm dying. Come over. Come on over.
It's not funny. Why am I laughing? Yes. Oh, but yes. So I called you and I was just like, I think it's happening now.
Yeah.
Like, come now. I was at like 2:50. And yeah, again, different episode to go over the details. But I think she passed before you got there. So
yeah, it was like literally like a minute before I got there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was the whole final breath, everything. And yeah, you walked in. I still can't believe, I mean, I think most people maybe want to be left alone, but just the way Sue was like,
I think it's
I'll give you some privacy.
Yeah, a lot of people want to be.
I just didn't,
Yeah.
I was just on my own.
Yeah.
But it's weird though, because as much as I kind of wish you'd been there,
Yeah.
like, 2 minutes earlier, I do think there's something beautiful about it was just me and mum.
Yeah.
Because it was always been me and mum.
Yeah, it has been.
I didn't bring any tissues.
Neither.
Are you going to get me a sock?
No. Get you a high quality Reebok t-shirt. Look at that. It's clean.
I'm going to get makeup on it and mum's not here to get the stains out.
Well, it is what it is. Don't wear it. It's a house top.
Okay, well,
The house top.
thank you so much.
One of your work tops as well.
It's ugly in my podcast. I'm just going to chuck her in there. Thank you, though. That's very kind. Okay, back to my dead mum. So as much as in the moment, I was like, fuck, like I wish she'd been there. Not your fault, like she, fucking went very quick at all. But I'm happy it was me and her because, it's always been me and her our whole lives. Like it's just so close. And a lot of the time she was, like all single or just very like, it's always been me and her. So there's something really beautiful about that. But I'm really glad you were fucking there a minute later because I was just like...
You're like, what? I remember when I got there and you were just like holding her and she was just dead. And I was like that confused monkey meme.
like,
yeah.
Just...
Yeah, it was very surreal.
Yeah.
And it's weird at the time, like neither of us were sad, we were just like in shock.
Yeah.
It was very much, because obviously it was like 3 a.m. in the morning, both of us are like half asleep, don't know how to process this kind of emotion. We're just like,
no.
Oh, she's dead.
She's fucking dead.
Yeah. I was like, that was very surreal.
And like nothing.
You're getting your little
tears.
Yeah, tears and dripping makeup down into your mouth. Looks like booger trains.
Just the Aimes-Costa. It wasn't snot. It was just crying.
I know it's not, because I can see it go down from your eye.
Okay. So I was in shock, and this is obviously so naive, but I'm naive because no one fucking talks about it. I didn't know how people died. Again, that would be in the other episode. I thought it was like in the movies where, like, I thought at some point she wouldn't wake up from being asleep. And I'd be like, Mommy, are you breathing? Like, I thought I'd be like listening and realize she stopped breathing.
Yeah.
I did not know it was going to be like that. I didn't know. it was very traumatic.
Yeah.
The vision of her face, remember Crash Bandicoot, that little Ooga Booga mask head thing that like follows you around? That's like
Yeah.
my mom's dead face. She's just there,
Yeah.
foaming at the mouth.
Nice.
Yes. So yeah, it was a shock of just like, I just didn't know she was going to die like a disease death. I just thought it would be like in the movies. Just,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Me and your mum playing at hospital.
Oh, don't. So I wasn't prepared for that. So that's why I was in shock as well. While I thought we had a lot more time based on, when I can't talk for the last week, I'm glad it didn't go on longer in the sense of if that's just how it would have been until she died, another day or two of just the death rattle being in bed isn't good for me or her. So while I say I thought she'd be in that state for longer, I'm glad she wasn't. And I think like there was a big relief when she died only because seeing her that way, seeing her the last 24 hours in hospice and the confusion, the pain, I shouldn't say pain, they did have a lot of pain relief and they did look after her, but she's not well, there's a lot of shit going on. And that whole death rattle, not being able to talk and all that stuff, I've had the relief because I was like, that could not go on.
Yeah.
I would have felt differently if she was just walking along, happy, chatting, and then boom, dead, like an aneurysm or something. That would be like, there'd be no relief there.
Yeah.
But the relief was not relief that she was gone, just relief that her in the way that she was, that could not have gone on. So there was relief in that sense that awful part was over. And just shock.
Yeah.
Pure shock. So I think we stayed with her about 40 minutes because I took a photo of our hands.
Yeah, I think...
And it was 3:30 in the morning. So if I called you at 2:50.
I think I got there like 3. I don't think we would stay there very long at all because like we got there and then we pretty much came in and then was talking and we stayed in there. We're like, oh, what do we do now?
It was half an hour.
And then we got out of the room and then... Yeah.
It was half an hour because I remember, just like you said, I remember feeling like it was really quick, but I've got the timestamps of my photos because I looked back and I'm like, shit, we were there with her for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I called you at 2:50 and I took the photo of our hands before we walked out at 3. It was like 3:32.
Yeah.
So it felt really quick. It felt like we just left, but I think we were just both sat there in shock for a long time. I remember, I was explaining this to my client today. I was okay being with her because she'd been alive and then, it sounds weird, but like not freshly dead, but like she'd only just died. Even though I look at that Instagram photo I posted of her hand, I didn't realize it was a dead hand. That was just my mom's hand to me.
Yeah.
But I remember Ash saying like, was your mom dead in that photo? I was like, yeah, how'd you know? And she's like, the hand is yellow and blue, honey. And I was like, oh.
It's hard because she's kind of like looked a little bit like that towards the end there as well because she's so sick.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it was different, but it wasn't like that much different.
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't even think your feet are wiggling and that's annoying me. Thanks for my little cup. I love her. So, yeah. So, I was saying about because she'd just passed, to me it wasn't like it was a dead body, like she was just there a second ago, and God, it's weird. It's like I was so close to her, like to the side and so close, and I had her hand and her head was slumped, so her face was quite angled. And I remember you were in the room in the corner at one point and I asked you to take a photo because I kissed her head.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel weird or look weird to me.
Yeah.
And I, took the photo. I said goodbye to her. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So I said goodbye. And then we walked out. And this is where it kind of got funny. The staff were like, okay, like, who's your funeral director?
Yeah, like, no.
Well, and because we weren't having a funeral, like she wasn't having a traditional funeral, she was being cremated. So like, in hindsight, it makes sense that the funeral homes are the ones that do the cremations,
Yeah.
but we never thought about it. No one ever told us. Like,
Yeah, you don't really know. Like, oh.
we didn't know. And Mum would have organised it, but we didn't know that she was at that point. She didn't know she was at that point. It kind of all happened very quickly. And so I was like, oh no, like she's being cremated. Like, oh yeah, but you still need to choose somewhere. And I was like, oh, well, do you recommend anywhere?
Yeah.
And they're not, I think the hospice isn't allowed to favour or promote anywhere. So they couldn't, they were lovely about it, but they couldn't like tell us.
Yeah, well, they gave us like some indications, like, oh, these are some places that people have gone with
Did
in the
they?
past. Yeah, they did. You were kind of like,
Oh,
I was talking to them about it. You were kind of just there.
yeah, that sounds
You
familiar.
were like this.
Yeah.
And I was talking to them about it, and then they were saying, "Oh, you should have rooms." You weren't actually in that conversation.
Oh, wasn't I?
You were just next to me, near me. So as I was talking to the lady, yeah, she gave us some recommendations. We didn't go with them, but she gave us some recommendations. Like, oh, these are popular people in the past. So
yeah. That face you just pulled, I remember being like that. I still am like that, where I just stare and I kind of like just like mouth open, like.
Yeah.
It makes, because I got Botox the week before she died, the day before hospice, not knowing that was coming. And so it set in while I was in hospice. So my face was just, it was like House of Wax, you know, that scene where it's like a single tear rolls down but the face doesn't move.
Yeah.
Dead.
Well, at least like a lot of the sadness didn't hit you then.
No.
That morning, like after that, we got our stuff and.
Yeah, well, I had a few breakdowns, which I'll go into later, other episodes.
Yeah.
During hospital and hospice.
Yeah.
But I didn't break down between her dying until after the funeral that we had with our friends. I think I was just in shock, and I was just like, again, there was a big sense of relief because that image and how she was, it had to end. So it was kind of like,
yeah.
you know. But yeah, so we left hospice and I wanted to go watch the sun rise. I think this is it. Like at this point, we're looking at.
I think so. We left hospice at 3:30. Then we went back to our house to get a coffee. We made a coffee. We're tired.
Yeah.
I also felt like I was nearly going to crash the car when I was driving over to you because I was so tired.
Oh, poor Bubba.
I had to come though. It was a very short drive though.
It's like 5 minutes.
Not even that. It was like 4, 3.
Yeah.
It's very close to our house, luckily, hospice.
Honestly, that whole period of her being in hospital and hospice, thank God we're in the same suburb. Like if she'd been in the city hospital, it would have been so much harder to get in and park and traffic lights. We were so lucky that we could just zoom up and down. But yeah, we walked out, came here. For some reason, I couldn't come in our house. I remember I waited in the car.
Waited in the car. You couldn't go anywhere. You just needed to.
I was just sat in the car.
Yeah. I went in, made a little iced coffee, and we drove on down to the beach.
Yeah, so
Henley.
We went to where Mum watched her last sunset, and we watched the sunrise.
Yeah.
So that felt very is the word ceremonious? I don't know.
Yeah.
That felt really special and just very surreal.
And then we were going to go for a walk down the beach.
Well, yeah, so we were going to go for a walk. Thought that'd be nice to do. And I was sniffling. Like, when I say I didn't break down, I still cried. I just wasn't racking sobs crying. I was just in shock and kind of crying. We went for this walk and I was starting to get really upset.
Yeah.
And this whole swarm of flies attacked us.
Yeah.
And we kind of swatted them away and we kept going and it got so bad. Nah, fuck this walk, fuck this shit. And we were laughing and I kind of felt like it was Mum. Again, I could be reaching here, but it kind of felt like her snapping us out of it and just come on, because that's what she was like. That's what she would do. So then we got in the car, we came back and we went for a walk. And I think we did an hour and a half walk, just like zombies.
Yeah, zombies, yeah.
Full zombies. And I remember you Googling Adelaide cremation services.
Yeah, I was on the phone oh, it's just guess I find someone to come pick her up then.
Yeah,
yeah.
I said to my client today, there should be other subjects in school. There should be one on taxes and mortgages, births and deaths, and a relationships one where people just have to fucking communicate and shit with each other, have conflict resolution. But yeah, so we're Googling like Adelaide cremation services. I hadn't eaten. I thought my boob was falling out. Nah. Or the night before, I don't think. So you took me to Macca's?
Yeah, we walked up the, because we went on a walked up Victoria and then walked up Hindley Street. And because we were such zombies, it felt like we literally just like left the club.
I felt
It
like...
felt like I was like kick-ons
Yeah,
after the
it
club.
felt like kick-ons.
Yeah.
I felt like we'd just been kicked out of
Yeah.
Red Square or Crybaby and we
Yeah.
were off our face and just like,
I walked into there, it's like, Sam, you got to eat something. So you're like, oh. And so I just ordered you the sausage mix.
It was so dry though because I was so dry.
And your mouth was so dry. You took like nearly 20 minutes to eat this sausage mix.
like-
And you're like this.
I know. But you were feeding
And I
me.
was drinking a Coke Zero and I was like, what are we doing? I felt like I was literally...
I know. We would have
So
looked
out of it.
cracked out for sure.
Yeah.
And like, I remember just like you feeding me and me being hunched over and just we weren't speaking. We were just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Then we walked back and it was time to go back to the hospice and tell them what funeral home we'd chosen. You very great. Did I miss a bit?
I know, while you were having your non-verbal thing, I was looking at funeral homes and I called the hospice while we were at Macca's.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I called them. I called them and let them know about it.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you were just like being non-verbal, so took over. I took you there, I fed you, I called, organised information, everything like that.
Thank God for you. Because I love you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, if I had been single or with like a partner that wasn't you,
Yeah.
I would have been fucked. I'm so grateful every day for everything you did and everything you still continue to do. I'm getting all nasally from crying.
Yeah.
Ugh. So,
It's been allergies.
no, I'm just crying.
Yeah.
Allergies.
Allergies.
So, okay, so we went back to the hospice. You had told them apparently. And
Yeah.
we had to like collect our things. It felt like a breakup where you've got to like,
Yeah.
not awkward because of the hospice, just awkward because of the situation. You have to like go collect your stuff. Like it just,
Yeah.
I couldn't go in.
So I remember I took half the things when I came in the morning and then I came in to take, because they packed up the rest of the room for us. They did, which was nice. And so you couldn't go in, so I went in to go pack up the rest of the stuff.
I don't know how you did
It
that.
was, and it's very weird because she'd just been like, they laid her out all nicely on the bed. She wasn't like where she was before. She had like her arms by her sides, but like, it was very weird. And by that time she was very grey by then.
Oh,
Very like,
my
even like
mommy.
me, colourblind, I can tell. And it was just like odd. Like, cause I went down and I touched her hand. I was like, oh, it's a dead person. I've never touched that before.
Yeah.
And I was so paranoid whenever I turned my back to the room. I was always just gonna be like, just sit up like this, like Thriller. She'd be like, as I was packing up the room, I was like, I don't have my back to her.
Oh.
It felt different though. It's hard to explain, but it felt like there wasn't something missing.
Like her soul
Like
wasn't
it's
there.
like definitely like when you touch or feel or see a dead body, like you can tell because it looks and it just feels different.
Yeah. I think that's what I was half trying to say before. Like, it didn't feel weird when I was there when she'd just passed. Like, she was like freshly dead.
Yeah, it felt like warm in the room when she was freshly dead, and then when you went in afterwards,
Well, they turn the aircon up. That's what they do.
felt like
I need to
clinical.
get tissues. Let's go fucking t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say cold. It felt like clinical,
Yeah.
like empty, cold, not in just like the sense of temperature, because it was just like a regular temperature in the room.
Yeah.
But it just felt like, yeah.
I didn't and couldn't have gone back in.
Yeah.
They did say, you know, they offered for us to spend as much time with her as we wanted. And I kind of felt a bit like a bitch because I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I lived there the whole week.
Yeah.
I was there till the end. I was there for half an hour after the end. And even when I left her, she wasn't there. She wasn't
Yeah.
in there. So I was kind of like, me going in a room with her there is not her.
Yeah.
That's not me spending time with my mom.
Yeah. No.
So each to their own. I know some people, they do. They said they do. They spend hours. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Or people come and say goodbye when she's already gone. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, no. But yeah, personally, that was not for me. I don't think that would have served me. So I'm very grateful that you packed up the rest of the things. I don't know how you did that, because I know you said you took a photo of her, which I don't want to see.
Yeah.
But the photo that you did take of me kissing her goodbye at like 3:30, she felt normal to me then.
Yeah.
But when I saw that photo, I was like, oh, she's dead.
Yeah.
Like the cheeks and the position and
Yeah.
it didn't look like that close to her.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of like, oh fuck, like that's
Yeah.
what the fuck? How is that my little mum?
Yeah.
I need real tissues. Can you please get them for me? Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Where were we? Yeah, sometimes I look back at that photo that I was just saw it.
Yeah.
So I can only hate to imagine the difference that would have been there when you went in.
Yeah.
So you got the stuff. We left. I think at this point it was maybe
No,
8.
It was like 9 a.m.
Was it 9 a.m.?
It was 9.
So then I remember we came home and I don't think I'd showered for a while. And I don't think I'm not sure if I'd showered yet, but I remember just being sat on the couch. And I think I was writing my caption for the photo of her hand and just kind of letting a few people know. And you had the idea to go out for lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember.
I think we'll talk about it.
Oh, no, I thought you look like you were going to keep talking.
Now it's pausing for you to talk about
Okay,
it.
sorry. Yeah, I wanted to go out to lunch just to get out of the house, not just be like at home while this had happened, just like sitting there, just like, okay.
Yeah. Okay,
like,
let's go.
We'd already gone for a walk and like, what are we going to do? Like,
Well, yeah, it was like 9, 10 a.m. and
then we're like,
we'd been up since...
I was like, okay, let's get dressed. Let's go to you and Susan's favourite restaurant.
Yeah.
We went and we had lunch and had some champagne to celebrate her.
Yeah, so...
Dressed up, we went there. Yeah, it was very very surreal still at that moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, we went there for lunch. It was
Well, I remember...
nice little us just talking.
I loved the idea you had for it. Like, let's go
Yeah.
celebrate her. I think you said let's go toast to Susan.
Yeah.
And go get the good champagne. And I remember I showered. And I think you had to come stand in the bathroom with me. I couldn't be in the shower. I couldn't be alone at all. I couldn't be alone for a very long time. But I remember just being in the shower, just like staring. And then I did my makeup because, you know,
Yeah.
getting ready. And it kind of just felt like slow motion, just like doing my makeup. And I chose the last dress that she ever bought me. It was an Odd Muse little mini dress.
Yeah.
So I put that on. And then I put my hair in, like, I had a headband, like a black headband. And I remember thinking it was like my crown, like straighten your crown.
Yeah.
Because in Mum's little book she wrote us, it was like, you know, get up, make your bed, do your makeup, straighten your crown. So I felt like
Yeah.
I was just, I'm doing it.
Just following what your mum said.
I'm doing it, bitch.
Yeah.
And then we went to the city. And we went to 2KW and we ordered the good champagne. Just talked about her and toasted to her. And I think we planned her funeral then too. Because then we held it there on the Sunday. This was Thursday.
Yeah.
And so we had like the event coordinator and Dan and
Yeah.
Simon and everyone just giving out their condolences. And
Yeah.
we're just like, I don't think I cried much that day. I was just like,
No, it wasn't like tears didn't come until like the Monday following, and then
yeah, and then it's never stopped.
Yeah.
We were there having our champagne, so surreal, planning her fucking funeral for the Sunday. And Tony, Mum's niece, my cousin, she flew down to support me
Yeah.
during that period. So then it was time to go get her from the airport.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we went to go pick her up. And then we brought her to, I hadn't been to Mum's house yet. We brought her to our house
Yeah.
because we live 5 minutes from Mum anyway. And I still am brain dead, but we arranged for everyone to have like a drink, a little gathering that afternoon at the Lion for Mum.
Yeah.
I told some people 4:30. I told some people 5:30. I said some people 5. So I'm here thinking it was 5:30 at the time that it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you here? What's going on? I'm like, I thought they were early. Yeah. And then I realized I told like 15 different people.
Because like you organized it like that morning we were like half delirious.
Oh, yeah.
Still.
Absolutely. So, sorry, guys. But yeah, I just didn't obviously intend to do that, but brain fog. And so, yeah, I went to the Lion and I kept the dress on, I think.
Yep.
She had already printed out her funeral thirst trap photo 2 years in advance, that one
Yeah,
of
she
her in the
did.
black dress and her sexy
Yeah.
legs. So I brought that down and
Because that dress looks like the dress that she bought you.
I
Like an
know,
old version of it.
I know, so similar.
Yeah.
Crazy. And so Toby from the Lion, she organised us the private room upstairs.
Yeah.
Everyone was so good. 2KW, the
Yeah.
Lion, the Kentish, fucking everywhere we go.
Yeah.
We're just all,
They were very
and
nice.
still are, so incredible to us. So yeah, so in a private room, we had champagne and we had a photo and we just sort of, because her friends were still down at that time because some of them were leaving. So we were all together and just, you said a beautiful speech and I was in a weird hosting, celebrating her mood.
Yeah.
I think my mum was good at looking after everyone else and
Yeah.
kind of, she would make jokes like that, I'm going to die hot. That was to make others feel comfortable. So I feel like I just took over this weird, like, everyone else was crying because I think for everyone else, they hadn't seen her the way that we had. They hadn't seen her with the death rattle, all curled over, foaming at the fucking mouth. So for us, we had the relief of that couldn't go on.
No.
And that there was a lightness that dark period was done.
Yeah.
They all just saw her happy and chatting at her living funeral, and then she's gone. So I think, like, initially I was better than others.
Yeah.
And I was in a protective, looking after everyone else mode, hosting and keeping spirits high. I'm like, no, we're not going to cry for her. We're going to celebrate that woman. Like, which is what she wanted. So I was just doing that. And then I even slept that night okay.
Yeah.
I slept the first week okay because everyone's like, oh, you sleeping? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, in hindsight, I was just so exhausted that I was. It was like
Yeah,
a
you
week
were.
later, the night terrors started and they've never stopped. But yeah, that whole week I slept and I still had Tony here on Saturday and we went shopping for things for Mum's funeral, bought that big bow for my hat and
Yeah, it was just a little bit of errands and stuff. It was like, felt like
yeah, just
oddly.
busy.
I just think like you just had so much planning and stuff and you were so busy.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until after the funeral that kind of everything hit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember distinctly when it was. But yeah, so we had the funeral Sunday, which was incredible. It was beautiful. It was everything she wanted for us to do for her. It wasn't her funeral, it was my funeral for her. It's what I imagine mums who have like their kid's first birthday. It's not for the kid, it's for them that they survived, So it was this big celebration and we had chips and champagne at her favourite restaurant and I was good all day. But I've also been lucky I'm surrounded by so many good people and so much love and like I said, because I share and I fucking yap online all the time, everybody knows that every venue I went to, they knew. So it was so, everyone's like a big hug. Like it was really good.
Yeah.
And then Lee and I were coming home from the funeral. It was like 10 p.m. I'd been out all day. I'm like, ooh, celebrating your mom, fuck. And then the Uber went past 2KW towards our house. And I just like looked up and I'm like, is that your funeral up there today?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean we're here? And I just started having like, that's where the waterworks just started. Cried the whole way home. And Lee was meant to be coming back the next day anyway to help me like pack up some stuff in the house. And you were at home, you were sleeping. You didn't party on like we did.
Did not party on.
You did not party on.
I did not party on.
But you were going to be up really early for work. You were going to PT, I think at like 5 or 6 a.m. And so I kind of said to Lee, I was like, you sleep over on the couch? And like Lee is no stranger to our couch. Lee has slept over many times. But it's normally you come home from town, 4 a.m, you're tired, you crash, and it's all good. The couch is not that good.
It's a couch, it's not for sleeping.
No, but his couch is really comfy. Like my old couch I could have slept on, but this couch it's not that great. And so to sleep on that couch kind of half sober-ish would be hell.
Yeah.
You know, if you're fucked up, you can kind of sleep in weird places. No?
No, I can't. I'm very fussy.
Okay.
But I understand that you can.
Yes. So Lee very kindly slept on our couch. And so then when you left for work, Lee came in and he was just with me the whole day until you gotten home. And yeah, I've already got an episode filmed with Lee about packing Mum's house up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was just, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
What the fudge?
What the fudge? It was
the
so...
Fudge. Susan said, don't swear. She told me. She told me to tell you, don't swear.
Your lashes are so long.
Yeah. No swearing.
No swearing.
No,
Samantha.
No, Samantha.
Samantha. So, yeah, do you have anything to add to the day my mum died?
No, I think you covered most of it. It was just like weird, and the sadness wasn't there on that day because I think you don't feel that much sadness at that point because it's just such a relief. Well, if you see them like that, obviously,
Yeah.
see all the pain, the suffering, and how your mum like kind of like she didn't die, but she died on that Tuesday night. That was the last time we actually talked to her properly.
Yeah.
That was the last time. That was our goodbye to her as well. And you'd been losing her slowly but surely throughout hospice. So you kind of had your grieving while you were there. Or there was some hysterics and there's some stamping on the ground.
Oh, the tantrums in the hospice corridor.
Yeah. So that
Stamping
was
my
kind
little
of
feet.
done. And when it actually happened, you're like, there's just like this sense of relief for this experience to be over.
Yeah.
And then it starts hitting you once, okay, now this event's done. Because after the funeral, then that means, everything's sorted now, it's done. Right? I don't have to do. Then you're like, oh, that happened.
Yeah.
And that's when the sadness hits.
I still
and then
feel
as
like
you
that.
go like that, it's like if you don't like see anyone, like if you went on a holiday for like a month, 2 months, I'll be missing you more and more every day. And that's kind of how sadness is. It's like, it's not, when someone dies, it's like when you lose someone, you don't kind of get over it because you just want to hang out with that person. It's like if your partner or your friend moves to another country, you don't get to see them much anymore.
Yeah.
You don't get to see them anymore. So like every day it's just kind of like, I just want to hang out.
I know.
Yeah.
I remember...
It doesn't necessarily get a lot better.
No.
But it'll always be there.
Oh, I know. I couldn't do this without you.
Support.
So you do the Batman voice. And you'll never have to. I remember driving to the sunrise right after she passed. And I opened my phone and I said to you, like, oh my God, I can't text her. Like, I can't text her anymore. Yeah. And you were like, well, you haven't been able to text her for like nearly 2 weeks because she was so sick she wasn't looking at her phone anymore.
Yeah, you were doing the messages.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, you're right. Like, she hasn't been able to text me back for a long time. And like you said, I lost different parts of her over the course of that month, the course of that week. They're just, what the fuck? Yeah, I think the shock was insane for the first, I'm still in shock, but for the first few weeks. And I remember I worked for 2 weeks before we went to Melbourne for Christmas, and like a weird autopilot.
Yeah.
I was so grateful. All my clients, so like mostly regulars, that everyone was like bringing, flowers, cards, hugs, gifts.
Yeah.
People are messaging. Like I had a lot of support, and I was kind of just in shock. And I remember at one point I thought I was okay. I thought I was relaxed.
That was like straight after it, you were fine. The best you were was straight after your mum dying, up until the Sunday.
Yeah.
That was when you were good. After that, you've been bad since.
Yes.
But you were best like straight after.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, am I just not going to get sad? You felt bad for not.
Yeah, I was like, why am I
sad,
not
you were just, like, in
losing my
shock.
mind?
Yeah.
I've heard that that's normal. But again, it'd be nice if it was talked about more so you knew what to expect. I was going to say something. Brain. I do remember though that the first few weeks I could not be left alone. Like if you were going to be at work and I didn't have a client, Ash had to come over.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk from Pilates to the house without being on the phone, like hyperventilating.
Yeah.
I'd be crying during Pilates. I remember with Jo, I was doing Pilates I think a week after she died, and we're like doing like the fucking some arm shit. And the Veronicas came on and it was like, was it I just want to live forever? And I was like, just like crying. Whereas now I can drive alone. I can be in the house for, an hour on my own. Like I'm bad a lot, but I am better than I was those first few weeks.
Yeah.
But then you get days where it hits you out of nowhere and you're just floored.
Yeah.
It's a wild fucking ride. And like I said, I think I've learnt by sharing and getting everyone else's sort of experiences, like it's not going to be any different for a very long time. So I'm just understanding that this is just how it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to have grief, like sadness and happiness run with each other. It's not like, because even when you're happy, like, oh, look at this is great. I can't share it with her. Oh, look at this beautiful top. She would have loved that. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, just, and there's milestones that I want us to hit and we will hit with Call Me Daddy and other life goals. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait till this happens.
Yeah.
But she won't be here to see it. Even the fucking podcast. She would have loved it.
She would have.
She would have.
She would watch it. Or was it the first episode all the time?
I know. Yeah. And she'll be sending it to all of her friends.
Yeah.
I'm so proud.
Yeah.
I know. Anyway.
Showing it to all her friends up there. Look at my daughter. Look at her go. Little husband. Isn't he a looker?
Oh, she sent everyone your picture. She thought you were so hot. You are so hot. Well, dinner time.
Yeah, yum yum.
I love you. Me too. Thank you for doing that episode with me. I appreciate you. I love you.
Me too. On that note, let's call it there.
My hips.